Why is asynchronous flow so complex in Node.js Callback hell? Imagine trying to juggle multiple balls at once, but each ball depends on the last one to be caught before you can throw the next. That's kind of what managing asynchronous tasks in Node.js feels like. Node.js is built on a single-threaded event loop, which means it handles all code execution in one main thread. To keep things running smoothly, it uses asynchronous, non-blocking operations that relying on callbacks to tell it when a task is finished. This setup makes your application faster because it can do many things at once without waiting for each task to finish. But it also creates a tricky situation when you need tasks to happen one after another. Callbacks are functions you pass into other functions to run once an operation is done. When you have multiple asynchronous steps that depend on each other, you end up nesting callbacks inside callbacks. This nesting makes your code look like a pyramid or a Christmas tree, which is hard to read and even harder to debug. Each nested callback adds another layer of indentation, and that makes following the flow a real challenge. Plus, error handling gets complicated. With callbacks, you have to check for errors in every single callback function. If you forget to handle an error at one level, it can cause your entire program to crash or behave unpredictably. Managing errors across many nested callbacks becomes a real headache, especially when you have to duplicate code or handle errors in multiple places. Another issue is that the code becomes less clear and harder to maintain. When you nest callbacks deeply, it's tough to see the overall flow of your program. Making changes or fixing bugs can become a time-consuming process because you might accidentally break the sequence or miss an error. This complexity discourages code reuse and makes testing more difficult, slowing down your development process. To fix these issues, developers started using promises. Promises are objects that representing the eventual result of an asynchronous operation. They let you chain operations in a cleaner way, reducing nesting. Later, the introduction of async and await syntax made asynchronous code look more like normal, synchronous code. This means you can write code that's easier to read and understand, with less worry about nested callbacks or error handling. Tools like libraries and utilities also help manage asynchronous flow better. For example, async.js offers functions to run tasks in series or parallel without deep nesting. Breaking your code into smaller, manageable functions also helps reduce complexity. Understanding how the event loop works and how callbacks are executed is key to mastering asynchronous flow in Node.js. Recognizing the pitfalls of callback hell and adopting modern features like promises and async and await can make your code cleaner and easier to maintain. This knowledge is essential for building scalable, efficient web applications with Node.js without getting tangled in callback chaos.